Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. So l'chaim. Before we start, I was in the plane now, and I was reading a Kfar Chabad, an older Kfar Chabad magazine, and there is a column there from Rabbi Chitrik. Rabbi Chitrik has a Zayda, Rabbi Yudel Chitrik, who had an unbelievable Arichas Yomim, and wrote a book, Rishima Sipurim. So he said that recently he bumped into someone who said that he was Shabbos, he ate at his Zayda's house years and years ago. And after the meal, his grandfather said he's going to 770 for a Farbrengen. He wasn't so interested in going to the Farbrengen. You know, in 770, at a Farbrengen, if you had a Malkim Kavua, you're a lucky ducky. So you were good. But otherwise, you have to find yourself a place and push your way in. He wasn't interested. He sat down on the couch and he took the book from Rabbi Chitrik, and he started to read. The first story he read was a story of a chassid of the Tzemach Tzedek who lived in Polotsk, and he was a rich man, and he used to join the Farbrengens. He also used to pay for many of the Farbrengens, and one day he decided that it's a waste of time, these Farbrengens, so he could sit and learn in that time, and it's a bittul Torah. So he still would sponsor the Farbrengens. He still would sponsor the Farbrengens. He paid for the cholent and for the Coca-Cola and whatever other things they would serve, the kugel, the herring, the kichlach. But he himself would stop joining the Farbrengens. Unfortunately, his mazel changed, and his parnasa went down south. And his children, Nebach, started to be sick, and his wife, the Shalom Bayis, was all of a sudden there was Shvacha Shalom Bayis, and he went to Tzemach Tzedek to ask for bracha, and he cried. So the Tzemach Tzedek said, "Let me hear you say Da'ayim. What changed lately?" So they went through the whole say Da'ayim, and Tzemach Tzedek says, "No, and when do you go to Chassidus Farbrengen?" So he said to the Tzemach Tzedek that he realized that he could save a lot of times. He still sponsors the Farbrengens, but he personally doesn't go to the Farbrengens. Tzemach Tzedek said, now we know the problem. The problem that Tzemach Tzedek said is that you're not going to the Farbrengens, because when you go Farbrengen, macht men l'chaim, and your friend tells you l'chaim, toivim l'sholem. L'chaim means you should be gesund. Toivim is your children should be gesund. And you should have parnasa. And l'sholem means you should have shalom bayis. You can hear me? Yeah, okay, good. And you should have shalom bayis. And also, the l'chaim tovim l'sholem makes that the midas hachesed should be going for a midas adin. So because you stopped going to Farbrengens, so now that's the problem you have. So the person said to himself, wow, I sat down, I decided not to go to a Farbrengen, and I sat down, and I read the story. He ran to 770, and he pushed himself into the crowd. And as you know, when the Rebbe would finish talking, they would sing. So he got a little bit of wine, and he picked his hand up, and he says, the only time in his life, the Rebbe gave him a very sharp look, and the Rebbe like gave a shtickle, a smile, and the Rebbe said, L'chaim v'livrocha. So l'chaim v'livrocha, it's the night of going into Shabbos Mevorchim. It's a special Shabbos. It's the Shabbos where Mahapach. It's Chodesh Av still, but we're already turning it into Elul, because it's Shabbos Mevorchim Elul, and Motzei Shabbos Sunday is already Rosh Chodesh Elul, even though it's Lamed Av, but it's Rosh Chodesh Elul, and Monday is the Aleph Elul. So and we're already Sunday is Toikin Lislamed the Shofar. So l'chaim, the Yom says that a businessman knows that once a year you have to make a cheshbon. The Gemara says, if you buy and you sell, you're not a businessman. You have to make profit. So the Frierdiker Rebbe says that what is hakafis? Hakafis is the Eibishter gives us on loan special koiches that year we should accomplish stuff. Comes Chodesh Elul, we have to make a cheshbon. Did we use the special koiches that Rebbeinu Shalom gave us in Shalom Bayis, in good health, and Parnasa, and if we didn't use it fully, we still have a full month to use it, and even if we use it fully, to use it even more to the fullest extent, so that the Rebbeinu Shalom should give us that next year, that it should be Be'enerech more than the koiches, and then Be'enerech more than the brachas that he gave us the last year. So l'chaim, 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 that the Eibusher should give, that this year should be for all of Klal Yisrael, Aksiva v'chsema toiva, Ashona toiva u'mesuka, bebone, chayim, mezoyna, revicha, l'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. I becha batchu ava iseinu batchu vatfalte mo yebecha batchu ava iseinu batchu vatfalte mo elecha zaku benim elatu becha batchu ולא יבוישו אליך זועקו ונמלטו בחבטחו ולא יבוישו לחיים לחיים. Okay, so this is a general introduction. I think tonight it would be kedai to have a Farbrengen. Usually we have a Maimer tonight, but going into such a special Shabbos, and for me it's a special Shabbos for an Einikel, and B'chlal, it's a special Shabbos. It's Shabbos the Mevorchim Elul. So when we think of Chodesh El, the first thing that comes to mind is Achlotas Tovos. We want to accept upon ourselves a strong resolution based on the calculation we made last year. Baruch Hashem, we had so much atzlocha, and we want going forward. We want to make a projection of what we want. We want to make Achlotas Tovos. So I think tonight we'll dedicate the Farbrengen to the concept of Achlota Toiva. What it is, Achlota Toiva. So the first thing is that there's a word from the Alter Rebbe. Chazal say, Machshava Toiva HaKadosh Baruch Hu Metzaref L'Maisa. Machshava Toiva HaKadosh Baruch Hu Metzaref L'Maisa. It's a Gemara in Sanhedrin Daf Tzadik Aleph. What does it mean, Machshava Tova? What does it mean? What does it mean? So there is a pshat that the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, but there is another pshat, a beautiful pshat from the Baal Shem Tov. Moedidike pshat from the Baal Shem Tov. Baal Shem Tov says, "Kasher ish Yisrael choshev l'asas eiz dover v'chafetz bazeh Hakadosh Baruch Hu metzaref kama v'kama inyonim b'ashgocha brotis she'over l'dei ma'isa." Already you make achlota. The Gemara says, "Other mekadesh atzmei ma'at me'lamata mekad shenoisei harbe me'lamayla." The etzem thing that we make achlota toiva, to be moisif in Yerushalayim, in Torah, in Anhogas Toivas, Nidra Mitzvahs. That itself, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mitzaref, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Mitzaref, all kinds of things that we should be able to get it done. In other words, similar to what we say, sometimes a person has to have bitochen. But sometimes the bitochen is a double bitochen. The Eibishter not only gives the bracha, but also gives the keli. Also here, that sometimes it doesn't look like we could be matzliach in our avodas Hashem, but the etzem thing, the fact that we made achlota toiva, that already the Eibishter firch and zu. I went this week to visit someone in the hospital that davens a little bit in our shul. Maybe some of you know him, Dr. Meir Olanoff. So Dr. Olanoff is unfortunately in the hospital, so I went to visit him. We were talking a little bit of how he came to become, he mainly davens across the street by Rabbi Khan. But he comes here sometimes. So he was telling me how he became a Shomer Torah mitzvahs. He saw a picture of the Lubavitcher Rebbe in the Village Voice. And in the bottom it said 770 Eastern Parkway, Brooklyn, New York. So, tzachnish gefoilt. He went on the 3 train and he walked into 770 Eastern Parkway, Brooklyn, New York. Something that happened years and years ago. Somewhere in the 60s. And And he comes to 770, he walks in, the Rebbe was in the middle of Farbrengen. And who is makabel upon him? Mr. Backman. I know the Olam knows the story. My Shred always tells the story with Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, I know Abraham Lincoln. His real name is Mr. Backman. So Mr. Backman, who was Niskarav through my Shver, was Ayid at Tzaddik, and he sees Kumitz again Ayid, walked in 770, and he was Makarav him, and he sent him to Yeshiva, B'chulu, and Baruch Hashem, he's a Shem Torah mitzvahs, years now. He's a doctor, he treats many from patients, and Baruch Hashem, his children also Shem Torah mitzvahs. So Ayid looks in the village voice, and he has a psashtikul esoidus. He sees the tmuna of a tzaddik, and he says, "You know what? I want to go see the tzaddik." And he goes on to the 3 train. Hakadosh Baruch Hu mitzaref elamaisa. The Eibush is mitzaref one thing and another thing. Before you know it, he was hooked in, and he was learning in yeshiva. And Baruch Hashem, the years and years later, he's very satisfied, and he's living at Baruch Hashem a very satisfied life. So that's the first thing. First thing is that it comes Chodesh Elul, Afrat, Rosh Hashanah, it's brought now Yom Yom, the Minik Chabad is to make a special achlota and a hider mitzvah. So that's the first thing. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. Keili avato v'yodeka Eloi kai haroim memeko v'hat l'chaim, do'el v'hat l'chaim Keili ato v'yodeka Eloi kai haroim memeko Oye Keili ato v'yodeka Eloi kai. I don't have l'chaim, it's just l'chaim. I'm in the library in the Chabad of Houston. Baruch Hashem, this is the first building that was built as a Chabad house. He came here, there's a shliach in 1971, I think. And when Rabbi Lazarov sitting here in the other room, this is the library. So when he came up with the idea of building the Chabad house, sometimes Chabad houses were, they took an old building, but this was built from scratch. So the Rebbe asked, "Nu, how's the geld?" He thought that meant he shouldn't build. But then he gets a call from the mosquitoes asking, "Nu, you're building already?" The Rebbe gave him a pile of, I think, $100 or 50, 10 or 20. And he still has one of those $50 bills. He's expanding now, and he's trying to get someone to buy it from him. I'll call upon him. He should be matzliach. We should be matzliach. Okay, so I don't have l'chaim. Please, you say l'chaim for me. Second nekuda about achlotas toivus is about confidence and simcha. Kiseitza l'malchame aloi vech. So we always read it in Chodesh Elul. Aloi vech. That a Yid has to feel that he has a feeling of superiority. Aloi vech. There's a word from the Frierdiker Rebbe that when soldiers go out to war, they go out with a march and singing. Why they know if they'll come back alive or not. The only way to win is to go with a feeling of netzochim, with a feeling of simcha, just like we have in the parshas coming up. When the Yidden go out on the Milchama, the Torah says, Al yerech levavchem, the Kohen says, Al yerech levavchem, Al tiru, Al tachpaz, Al tartzu. Rashi says, Dalad azores kenegedal dvorim shomalche agoyim oisim, megifim betrisem, v'toikim b'shefus mashmiim, kol minei koil. They make a tumult to make a pachad in the heart of the enemy. That's what the Gemara says, that person, the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, that the Gemara says, that sometimes a person has to talk with Rash v'roiges against his nefesh Bahamas. The point is not the Rash and the roiges. The point is to talk down to the nefesh Bahamas. And the kol shekain, if it's done with simcha, so then he feels that, when you see a person walks into the room with confidence and with simcha, so he takes over the space in the room. So when we have the best recipe to succeed in every nisayon that we have is to walk with our head up and with confidence and with simcha. And we find the Rebbe says an unbelievable Maimah Chazal. The Gemara says in Baba Basra, and it's brought later in the Pirkei the Rebbe Lezer, that the Olam is Doimel Achsadre. It has only 3 walls. Ruch Tzefainis Einem Mesubebev. In the north, there's always, that's when it's often the Pasach Hara, that trouble always starts in the north, where the Russians are. That's where the trouble starts. Agav, I have so many thoughts about what's going on now with Russia and Ukraine and Hero and Avodas Hashem, but I don't want to digress because Chassidische Farbrengen and Lefiere Chassidische Farbrengen, those things are all Divrei Shtus Vehevel, but maybe we'll get back to it. The Gemara says, the Pirkei the Rebbe Lezer says, the Eibishter said, Kol Mishem Ashur Laka. If a person claims that he is an Almighty, so there is a Ruach Tzefainis, the 4th wall in the world, the 4th Ruach is open. It's not protected. The Rebbe says, it's a funny lashon. It should say the opposite. Since we know no one could do such a thing, if the Eibishter left it open, the Eibishter made 3 walls to the world, and the Ruach Tzefainis he left opened. So obviously no one's going to be able to finish it. So Yavoy, v'yenasa lasas, let him try to do it. V'yedu hakol she'einu yolaka. What's v'yedu hakol she'olaka? The Rebbe says because the emes is the minig Yisrael Torah that you can have 3 walls of a sukkah and it's kosher. We're talking about a sukkah already, but yeah, because Elul, we're getting ready for Tishrei. Tishrei, the first half is Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, and the second half is the Sabbath of Simcha, Sukkos, right? So we're talking already about Sukkos. So the minig is that even though that's 3 walls, 100% kosher, but Shulchan Aruch brings the minig Yisrael Torah to make 4 walls. To be meramas that the avodas Hashem of a Yid does fix the Ruach Tzefainis, Mitzofa and Pasach Hara, the Rishoyim, Shmodek Agorim, they're called Russians, and there's there is a lot of raw, but the Yid has the koyach taka. A Yid has the koyach tzadikim are called Hashem Hashem asidim tzadikim sheikoru b'shmei shel Hakadosh Baruch Hu, as the Gemara says in the end of Megillah. So they didn't have that koyach. They didn't have that special koyach. So l'chaim. David shall helfen that we should be able to make achlotas tovos with the feeling of confidence, and especially as we're going into Chodesh Elul, the Alter Rebbe's big koch in Elul is ani ladoidi v'doidi li, that the Eibishter loves every Yid. Why we say doidi? What does doidi mean? Doidi means my beloved. And Chodesh Elul seher tzachon that ani ladoidi v'doidi li, that the Eibishter loves every Yid and every Yid loves the Eibishter. Seher tzachon, this nakuda that the Eibishter loves every Yid. Seher tzachon that the Eibishter loves every Yid. So l'chaim, that we should be matzliach in our avodah and Chodesh Elul, and that the Eibishter should give every one of us b'techechik klal Yisrael aksivach simatoiva shana toiva psucha peseach es yodecho masbia lachol chayrotzoin. The Pashto Pshat is that the Eibishter opens up his hands to give l'chol chayrotzoin his rotzen, whatever. Even though the person is like the Alter Rebbe says, merubim tzorchem amcha v'daitem k'tzor, because they have a pea brain, a small brain, so they have merubim, they have a lot of tzorchem. If they had a das rechava, they would know that they don't need all these luxuries. They don't need this, they don't need that. They just need avodas Hashem. But it doesn't matter. The poil v'seches yodecho masbia l'chol chayrotzen. The Eibishter gives every Yid based on what the Yid right now feels he needs. So l'chaim, that we're going out to the Mashal the Alter Rebbe. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be a Shabbos. Maybe next week or the following week we'll learn the Maimah together of Nila Doidi v'Doidili. Unless, by the way, this Shabbos Rabbi Kirschenberg will be here. So unless Rabbi Kirschenberg decides to learn The Maimer of Anila Doidi V'Doidi Lira Shetevis Elul. It's a very choshev Maimer. The kud of the Maimer is that the Eibishter reveals himself in a special way, Chodesh Elul, that we should feel that he's very approachable. And he gives the mashal of a melech that comes out in the field. So that's in Anila Doidi. That's the word of Doidi. Doidi is my beloved one. So when we know all this, so the achlotas we make in Chodesh Elul is with unbelievable confidence and simcha. So to summarize, the first thing we spoke about that, it has to be that achlota is made, and through that the Eibishter gives us the koyach to fulfill it. And number two, that the achlota has to be made with confidence and with simcha. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. Koyle doi di fake, doi di fake, peace chigli. Koyle doi di fake, doi di fake, peace chigli. I peace chile yachoyesi rayavavasi yayanasi tamasi peace chile yachoyesi rayasi yayanasi tamasi. See ya 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 yidi my da 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 hi did ya 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 Oh yeah yeah la da da da. Oh yeah 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 la da da da. Oh la da 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 da. Oh da ya da. Oh la da da ya da. L'chaim l'chaim l'chaim. A couple of years ago, I was with my wife somewhere in Europe, and we met a couple with a special needs child, Jewish couple. They were from Toulouse in France. They said, "Do you know Rabbi Mendy Chain?" I said, "Sure, he's a friend." Rabbi Mendy Chain is a malach, and his father-in-law, Rabbi Matasov, is a tzaddik. So it's remarkable to hear reports from people that special needs child, and the shluchim helped him out. I want to tell you two stories from Rabbi Matasov from Toulouse. Two remarkable stories that I heard from him. There was, in the time when there was the corona, there was a Farbrengen. The Farbrengen went on for close to 30 hours, and only 1,000 shluchim could be on the Zoom at a time. And this was a very funny thing in the Farbrengen. There was one of the people. So every shliach had was talking for a few minutes at a time. So you say, how do you Farbrengen for 24 hours? Because different time zones. So someone was always there was always about 1,000 shluchim there on the same time. People were going on and off. So the shliach in Toulouse at Rav Matasov said that originally he was born in his father. He was born in Tashkent, I think. His father came out of Russia. The Rebbe sent him straight away to Casablanca. His father was a moedik Talmid Chacham. So Machabes Sforim. He was a Baal Mechadish. His father went right away to his kids. All grew up in Morocco, so they spoke Arabic and they spoke French, Kamuvan. So So when he got married, he wanted to go shlichus, and he wrote to the Rebbe. The Rebbe said the first thing he should look into was to go to Tehran. Alapoil, he couldn't get the documents. Mechulu, I mean, he was qualified for the job. He spoke perfect. Arabic. And Lapoil, it didn't work out, so the Rebbe sent him to Toulouse. So the Oilam at Safangazet Stafem, it was just funny that the head of Farbrengen, they said that Khomeini came to power because of you. The Rebbe tried to send you in 1978 as a shliach. Why do you think the Rebbe tried to send you as a shliach in 1978? The Rebbe saw that there was a klipa koshek about to take over Tehran. The Rebbe said, if I'm going to send a shliach, shlucha shlodem kamoisei, mechav kabdus ha-mitzvahs keim shlucha shlodem kamoisei shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it'll be a mora de asra, and that was the feeling at the Farbrengen. They said, you see, the Rebbe wanted to send you a shliach. It's your fault that Khomeini is in power. If you actually managed to do your first, the Rebbe wanted you to go to Tehran, Kadima le Tehran, then there wouldn't have been the revolution. This is the first Maisa. Second Maisa is that Ramatasov said that he once was Rahman al-Islam sick. And he wrote to the Rebbe. The Rebbe said he should ask a Rav. So he didn't, wasn't a shayla for a Rav. He was sick, and this seemed not to be a cure for it. He went to Erev. Who did he go to? As he walked out of 770, he went to the first house. So at that time, it was the old Rav of Crown Heights, Reb Zalman Shimon Dworkin, Zechrein Lebracha. It's Kohen Otzam. It was a Kol Kulei Torah. So he said that the Rebbe sent me to ask a shayla. So Reb Zalman Shimon said, "What's the shayla? You're going to be healthy. How do you know?" He said, "Why do you think the Rebbe sent you to me?" The Rebbe probably wanted that I should paskin, that because you are a shliach mitzvah and you need it to do your shlichus, you have no time to be sick. So you're obviously going to be healthy and kachava. Beautiful story. It's a beautiful story. Yes, the Rabbi said we don't have any time. We don't have any time for Narishkeit. We have a mission, every one of us in basement Menachem Mendel, but to Yisrael, to have a Ksivach Samatova, to have a Shana Tova Mitzukah. Here in basement Menachem Mendel, we're busy building a new shul, a Mikdash Miyat. So we don't have a minute to spare for any Narishkeit. So the Eibush has to give that we should be L'chaim, like the Tzemach Tzedek said, L'chaim. L'chaim means health, good health. Toiva means parnasa, l'sholem means shalom bayis. So should be l'chaim toivim u'l'sholem. So what is the third nakuda that I want to get to in achlota? And this is the punchline of where I want to get to. Achlota by Chassidim, always the point of achlota toiva was a specific mitzvah, specific hidur. We know that Rebbe was makabel on himself every year a new hidur. Hidur mitzvah, a very specific thing. It could be something small. Shulchan Aruch says, in the morning, a person that a person when a person checks the talus to see that all the tzitzis are kosher, that he's supposed to separate them. They shouldn't be tangled up. Rosh Hashanah is a hidur type. We're learning now about zmanim. The beginning and ending zmaning of every mitzvah. We're talking about Alois HaShachar and Tzeis HaKechovim and Neitz HaChama, Shkiyas HaChama, and Mishayakir and everything, Plag HaMincha and everything in between, whatever. So there's a lachatchila in every mitzvah. We spoke about it yesterday, about, trying to be Kedusha into Zman. There is so many things where there's details of how we can do a mitzvah more beautifully. The secret of Achlot Tova is to take something specific. Take something specific. Not, this year I'm going to be a good yid, I'm going to do everything good. Something very specific. The secret is to take something very specific. Just like Chassidus, it says that when the morning a person is Mizbonim, Begadlus Hashem, it's not good enough to Mizbonim that the Eibishter is great. Allah Akbar. It has to be as bonus protis. The person thinks is excited about something that he learned in the Torah, on a kuda, that he thinks through that point and is excited about that nakuda, by that point. Same thing here with achlota, has to be that there's a specific, we pinpoint something that we could do better this year. Chazal say that they asked, Avuach b'maya v'zor tfeis. He said, mitzvah tzitzis. Obviously, the Alter Rebbe says every Yid is doing all 630 mitzvahs. The Amoraim are obviously doing all the mitzvahs. The question was, b'maya v'zor tfei. The Alter Rebbe says, zoyish, zor moshel zor v'or. It was shining. It was shining through the special mitzvah that was his thing. How do you know which is your mitzvah? The truth is, there's two. I think there's two opposite ways. Sometimes you know what your mitzvah is intuitively when you see how hard it is, and sometimes the opposite. Sometimes you have a geschmack and a chayis, and a mitzvah. Aaron HaKohen had the geschmack and a chayis and bringing shalom and doing everything by shalom. And you have a geschmack and a chayis in this. You have a geschmack and a chayis in Zogna Guta Wort Ayid, to make Ayid feel good. So that's also a simons, that's something. So and the two opposite of things that expect a spectrum. Sometimes when you see Kumton Shver, it's difficult. Sometimes you see something, you have a very big chayis, you know it's your thing. So that's the secret of Achlota. We see it in Birchas HaChodesh. When we say, we don't only say, we ask in general, it should be a good Chodesh. No, Yechacher Kadosh Baruch Hu Aleinu V'Alkala Hamay Beis Yisrael L'Chayim L'Shalom L'Sosoin L'Simcha L'Yeshua L'Nechama. So we say 6 different Lashonos, and each Sosa means Mila. This Yeshua means everything, and it can be multiple things. Because we want to ask for a dava proti, not only bechlolus. So same thing, the achlotas toivas should be not only bechlolus, that this year we'll utilize every moment and utilize all the koiches the Eibishter gave us, ba'akofa, but it should also be befrotus, that's something special that we want to take upon ourselves, a hidden mitzvah for this month, for this year. So l'chaim, the summary, even though Farbrengen doesn't have to be summary, but the summary is, we spoke about 3 things. We spoke about the importance of Farbrengen, and we're Farbrengen tonight because Shabbos, I won't have a chance to Farbrengen with the Elul. Although Mitzvah Shem, I hear there's going to be a beautiful Farbrengen. Rabbi Kirchenberg will be there. But tonight we're Farbrengen to kick off the Shabbos Farbrengen. So we're talking about the Achlotas Toivus in 3 points. In number 1, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mitzaref L'Maisa, that the Eibishter will help when we make achlota to be mitzaref things that we should be able to fulfill our achlotas. Number 2, that we have to do with confidence and simcha. Aloy vecha, the vecha is the Yitzhahara, and it should be aloy vecha. And the third thing is there shouldn't only be achlota klolis. Chalzayin agita yid. There's at night. I don't know if you do it with your children, but this is a minig Yisrael to do it. That the Bobbies used to do with their einiklach. Ich will gut sein, ich will frum sein. Ich will folgen. To me, it was, I still do it with my children are not that age anymore, but ich will gut sein, ich will frum sein, ich will folgen. Was the Eibishter haste, was the Mami haste, was the Tati haste, was alle gute frumme light. So it's not good enough to only say ich will gut sein, ich will frum sein, ich will folgen. That's also good. That's also good. But it has to be achlota protis, is bonus protis. So l'chaim. The emphasis takazoi, every one of us wants that. That's really what we want. Just like we sing to our little children, ich will gut sein, ich will frum sein, ich will folgen. We want to be makabel, el malchus shamayim, we will folgen. We want to do what the Eibishter wants us to do. So the trick is through doing achlota toiva. Number 1, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mitzarfa. Number 2, We do it in the Oifen of Alevacher. Number 3, we do it in the Oifen Proti. We pinpoint something that we'll take upon ourselves. And then with this, the Eibishter will help that Odem Mekadosh Ma'atzme Ma'atlamata. The Eibishter helps Ma'harbe Malamayla and gives us a harbes koiches. We should be able to fulfill all our achlotas toivus. The Eibishter should give us B'toichechi Klal Yisrael a ksiva v'chasim toiva, a shana toiva m'suka, and all the brachas that we need and all the brachas that we want, we should have in a full way. All the Yidden that are nebach b'meitzer b'meshivya should go out in freedom, and all Klal Yisrael should go out from this bitter golus and freedom b'vius Mashiach tzidkenu. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. Mishkoyach to my son-in-law, who set up the Zoom. We just the hour is a little different to me right now. It's 8:58, and I just gave a shir for him because he has this beautiful thing Thursday night, Leil sushi. So l'chaim mishkash Shmuley for setting it up, and Mazel Tov. We should share simchas. Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
No, let's finish with the niggin. Hey. Dance. Hey, כי בשמחת תצאו ושלום תבלון עשית לפניכם רינה וחלת יסודיים חוכם בשמחת תצאו ושלום תבלון הורים ועגבו עשית לפניכם רינה וחלת יסודיים חוכם כי בשמחת תצאו ושלום תבלון הורים ועגבות יפצחו לפניכם רינה. Okay, a gute Nacht, a guten Shabbos, a glücklichen Shabbos. Thank you so much for joining.
A guten Shabbos, yes. Enjoy. Okay. Shkach, Joel, everyone. Make a Shabbos, guys. Thank you. A different show.